guys, welcome. You're watching Headset VR. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a brand new gaming video. Now today I'm going to be playing a game that came out originally on PlayStation, was so successful it's been ported to PC, and this, as you may well have realised by staring at the protagonist here, this is Stellar Blade. And today I'm going to step inside the game with a couple of different mods to maybe change how much you appreciate this game. And hopefully we'll give you some new reasons to appreciate this game a little bit more. Now, let's be real. Stellar Blade's third person camera is, well, it's a choice. It is one of the most talked about parts of the game, but what if you could fire the cameraman? Now, wouldn't that be interesting? So, for anybody that's not in the loop, there is a mod called UEVR that is absolutely incredible, and it allows games made using Unreal Engine to be kicked and tricked into running in full immersive VR. So this basically can increase your VR library quite exponentially. Now there's a couple of things I'm going to try here. Now I am obviously going to play with UEVR, but there's also another mod. We're going to give that a try as well, and also we're going to try and use an Engine.ini file to see what that does to the game. Now, I have found a lot of these UEVR games that do flicker a little bit on the monitor. In the headset, if I put the headset on, it looks perfect, absolutely perfect. But on the monitor here, what you can see is just that little bit of flicker. So we're going to see if the Engine.ini, first of all, will get rid of that bit of flicker. But we're going to save that towards the end. But before that, we're going to show this not only in VR, but also we're going to have a mess around with some of these camera angles. Now, something that does need mentioning, before you do launch this game with its profile, you need to go into Properties, and in the launch options, put this launch command, -no HMD. Otherwise, you will not have a UI in the headset. You will not see things like how many health packs you've got, how much health you've got, how much beta energy you've got, that kind of thing. So it is imperative that you do that. Yeah, our mission today is simple. See if Stellar Blade's super tight camera and lightning fast combat can actually survive when you're not just watching the action, but watching many other, when you're standing in the middle of it. Let's do a little bit of experimenting. So I might cut and chop a little bit here just to show some of this. Now I'm going to show you first of all a little bit of the gameplay I did, just a basic bit of combat using UEVR on its own without anything else. This is what I did previously. Okay, right, now downloading this mod, this is a mod I've come across from the Flaw Discord, and as I say, it basically gives you free reign on the camera. And as such, it gives you a lot more control over where it's going. Now, it does require a little bit of tinkering around, which is something I haven't actually done as yet. So we're going to do that today. So, as you can see, the camera is quite tight to Eve. But we can have a little mess around with that. So what we're going to do is, there's a couple of enemies in the area. Now, this is the default camera just here. And as you can see, it's just floated back to this distance. It's not first person, because let's be honest, which fella wants to play this in first person? It's nice to have the option, but why spoil one of the best things about the game? So I'm just going to fight this enemy that's going to spawn at the end of this aisle here. And we'll see what the camera is like with this, whether it's a complete clusterfuck or whether we've got a decent third person-ish view at a relatively close angle. And if not, we're going to try it with some of the different angles as well and see if we can make it feel a bit tighter. Anyway, yeah, there is, like I say, a couple of enemies over here. And there is this thing with a shield here. I'm not going to fight this thing with a shield. We want to keep it nice and easy. Right, so we've irritated him. Is he coming out? Yeah, he's coming out. And this is the angle we've got it at here. This feels really good, this does. Okay. This is a really good angle. I like this. That's good, that is. This is a good angle. Okay, well, I'm actually really happy with that angle. That's literally the first one that we've got from the start. Okay, let's try it on this enemy here. Maybe we could do it a little bit further away, but only a little bit. Let's give it a try. In the headset, this looks brilliant in the headset. It's not too close, like I say. It's not in your face, which could be quite distracting. Something else. Anyway, let's check out this enemy here quick. Okay. Come on then. Bring it on, asshole. Whoa! Whoa, don't want too many of them. Not too many of them at the same time. Just the one will do. Whoa, you shit. Oh, looks like we've got both of them, I think. Oh, well, thankfully he's dead now. Okay, well, it's been a while since I played the game. The last time I really had a good go on this was the demo and also on the PlayStation. So I'm not probably as proficient with blocking, but my eyes do not deceive me. I know what I'm seeing is pretty damn good. Come on then, mate. Now the dodge, when you do the dodge, it's perhaps a little bit close to your face. Which, you know, it's not so bad really. But if you want to play it, you want to see a good third-person perspective, which is what you want really. But the combat is, well, I'm impressed with this at this angle at least anyway. Like I say, it's not first person, it wouldn't really suit first person, although it is interesting to see it from a first person perspective, but it doesn't really do the game justice if you play it in first person. Like I say, I know there is a first person mod, but you know, you want to see this from the third person because, you know, you miss out on all the best bits. Let's try a couple more enemies and then we're going to have a mess around with the config. So yeah, to answer the question, still about combat, the cinematic scenes, it does work in VR and it does work with this mod as well, this free look field of view mod. So although it's pretty much a one-way ticket as to where you're going to be looking at, this does, in my opinion, honestly makes this feel a bit more incredible. We've got a lot more of a solid third person, so it's like we're literally just over the shoulder. Right, so let's just show it again. We're going to fight this dude here. Oh, we've got two of them. This is probably about as close as we can really get to first person without it actually being first person. Whoa. Whoa. Oh shit, we got two of them. Come on then, come and get it and we'll... Okay, right, so I've had a little bit of a fool around with this mod now. And what I'm going to do is very quickly just show you how you get it set up and how you actually play around with it. Now, first thing first, if you go to the link in the description for the mod page, which is Nexus, so let me just pause the game and we'll just take you to the mod page here. So the mod is called Camera Control, And what you do, if we just go to the files, is you manually download the file just here. So what you need to also do is download UE4SS for Stellar Blade as well. Okay, so we've downloaded the mod, so I've extracted both of these mods. And if you just go into UE4SS and look for these two files here, we need to place them into a specific location. So basically just look for where the game is. I've got it here, so just browse local files. As you can see, right click on the game, go to manage, browse local files, and you can see I actually have the folder location still up on screen anyway, so I'm going to enlarge that. So basically whatever the Steam game is, whatever your drive is, and look for Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, Stellar Blade. And then what you do then is go into SB and binaries, Win64, and as you can see here, I already have UE4SS here, and the DWM API.dll is already here. So basically put UE4SS in that location, and then what we do then is we'll go into camera control, and this file here for the FOV control, we go into UE4SS, go into mods, and as you can see just here we have field of view control. Just drop that file into here, and that is pretty much it. That is all I have done. Now obviously I'm using UEVR, and I'm using a UEVR profile, and the profile itself, if you go to the Discord, it's made by Markman again, and I will upload this to my Patreon page. It's a free Patreon page, you won't get charged, but upload this to there so you can download and inject the profile. All I've done is use base settings, and that's it. Now what you do to mess around with this in game is if you go to FOV control, and if you see this FOV control file here, I already have it open. Now these are the default settings. Well, these are the default settings when you launch the mod. So let me just minimize all this down and show you exactly what this does. So as we can see, Eve is standing right in front of us, and I've pulled up the FOV control config, and it's very easy. So as you can see, the default cam, the X, Y and the Z values are all here. So the Y is your vertical, your X is left to right, and the Z is forward to backwards, for those who don't know. Right, so if I just mess with the X here, and as you can see, she's slightly a little bit over on that side. So let's just change that value to 100. Click File, click Save, back to the game window, and then we press F8. And as you can see, the value has changed. So now it's a little bit more like your traditional third person. We don't want the traditional third person, at least I don't. That's not why I came here. So let's try a different value. So you can see we've saved it as 200, and then press F8, and well, where's Eve gone? Oh, she's up there. Hello. Well, the only flaw I've noticed with this so far is if you move the right stick forwards and backwards, it can actually go a little bit weird out sometimes. So if I was you, just stick to going left and right with a stick, and that's it. Like I say, it gets into a nice position when it locks onto an enemy. But other than that, I mean, the angles are pretty damn good, really. Let's go on and let's play a little bit more with this lovely camera angle. Then we'll see what it looks like with the Engine.ini. Whoa, you shit! Right, now I did change a couple of the values as we were here waiting. Things are looking so good. What does that say on a bum? D7 Eve. I wonder if there's any more writing for... never mind. Right, I think I've got a pretty good angle of everything. But I've got a pretty good third, not first person perspective. That gives a new appreciation for playing Stellar Blade in VR. Right, okay, so this is what the game looks like currently, and we're going to put in the Engine.ini file and see what that does. Okay, right, so I've downloaded the Engine.ini file. This is on the Pcvr Discord. Check out the pins section, which is just up here, and if you just scroll down a little bit further, you've got this Engine.ini. Okay, so what we're going to do now is show you what we do with the Engine.ini. So we just go into C drive, look for users and user, and then app data. And then if we go into local, and then from there we need to look for SB, which is a little bit further down. So there's SB just there. And go into saved, config, Windows no editor. And there is the Engine.ini just there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this to Engine 1. And then we'll go back into downloads. And we're going to drag and drop this file into here. And then rename it to just purely Engine. And then we're going to launch a game. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the Engine.ini. Right, so the results are in, and for me, this camera system is the one that I found that makes this game a lot more appreciated, and I think this becomes the biggest strength of this game, playing it in UEVR. Because playing it in first person, you know, you've got that big monster image on your screen, but big monster's a bit of a problem. You can't really see what actions your character's performing, and the center scale doesn't really feel right, to be honest, in first person. But third person is definitely the way to go. But changing the angles with this mod like this, it does feel a lot more immersive. I mean, we don't actually feel like we are Eve. But, I mean, to be honest, if I was Eve, I'd never get out of the house, to be completely honest. But the feeling of being this one small person in a huge hostile world, like I say, you feel a lot closer to Eve because of this camera perspective. At least I have done anyway. And I'm going to sit here now, in silence, appreciate the view, and play a little bit more of this game in this fantastic third person, not first person kind of view. So anyway, if you can support the channel,
the transportation device.
that would be much appreciated.
Try activating this monorail panel.
Please give the video a thumbs up if you like what you see, and I mean the video, not any of the prize assets, although you can give us a thumbs up for that if you like. Otherwise, if you want to see more VR related content like this, then do subscribe. That's what you're going to see. Otherwise, if you've got any comments that you want to make, please put them in their usual place. I will respond to every single comment.
This city, it's so quiet and so lonesome.
Well, that's what happens when a city becomes devoid of humanity.
Come through here.
Looks like this used to be a plaza.
You're right. Except it's underwater now. The good thing is you won't have to go in the water. The Hall of Records is that way.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this big guy's going to come up as well. Oh, that wasn't very nice. Well, he's beside himself now. There's a fantastic little mod, but you can work in conjunction with UEVR. And it does basically make third person a little bit more interesting. And of course, then we've got the Engine.ini as well, which does increase or improve the visuals somewhat. It looks a lot better on the monitor, just as much as it looks really good here in the headset. So this is a pretty good excuse to come back and play some more of this game. At least I thought it was a pretty good excuse. But then again, who needs an excuse to come back and look at an ass like this? You don't need one, really. So, what are you waiting for? Get yourself out there, get a copy of this game, play it in VR. You won't be disappointed. There's lots of things to see, and I'm sure you can appreciate seeing this beautiful pixelated heroine from some excellent new angles. If that's your cup of tea, then you definitely need to get yourself into this mod in VR. Okay, right, now I think I've got some of these settings pretty much set where we'd like them to be. So basically, as we all want to, we can see Eve completely in the screen in all of the view in the headset. We can see everything that's relevant on the monitor as well. And if we just wander around in walk, it doesn't spaz out or go anywhere stupid. Also the same in run as well. It stays exactly the same in run. And obviously we've got to check out what it's like in combat. Now the only downside with it like this is you need to look round Eve to see anything that's directly in front of it. Now you can adjust this if you prefer the camera height to be, say, level with your head. You can mess about with the FOV control settings, or you can even change the camera position in UEVR. I've just gone for the FOV control settings for now. Let's just show you what the combat is like at this angle here. There's a couple of enemies just here, and then I'll show you exactly what I've done with these settings. Okay, so as you can see, the camera rises when combat starts, but it's a pretty decent view, so we just press the lock on button and we've got perfect waist height camera view here. With all those dodges. Of course, when it goes out of combat, the camera changes back to what it was, but you can use the right stick to move up and down to get that kind of higher view, so you can see when you're running. Of course, when it goes into combat, it'll just drop into this kind of height, so you can see all those perfect flips and all those perfect dodges. Great with both eyes, and none of it is obscured from your eye line. So, as I was saying, if you do want to see Stellar Blade with improved third-person in VR view, now you can. And as I said, I will just show you what the settings are that I've used on this. So when you have the settings up, you can see just here, what I've done is I've gone to the bottom and turned enable walking camera and sprinting camera to false. And these are the settings here. I don't know how much impact the field of view settings have had, but I've tried to put those up a little bit if I can. Sprint camera is probably irrelevant anyway, but these are the settings I've used. Same as the wall camera, but the combat camera I've put these settings in, and the default camera I've put these settings in. And then obviously when you put your settings in, you go to File and then Save, tab back to Game and press F8 and it changes your settings. Okay, so only downside with this is, as you saw, is Eve does obstruct your view a little bit, but you know, I can live with that. You can just choose not to lock on to the enemies, which does give you the solid fixed view. And also, one of the popular things in this game is ladders. I've always liked fruit, particularly peaches. Okay, but I mean, this is a really great way to actually experience this game in VR. You can see the whole of the character, so you know, if that's what you want to see, that's what you can see. You can see perfectly in the headset. Of course, make sure that you do lock on to enemies but like I say, you will be fixed at this view with the settings I'm using at least. And what I will do, the config, the FOV config, I can upload that to the Patreon as well. So if you want to use this config, you can do, and then just adjust it as you see fit.
Everything looks like an apocalypse.
What?
Nothing. Just talking to myself.
Okay, so I'm only just going to do this last little bit. Now I feel I've got this optimised in the way I'd like to, so I'm not going to dwell too much more on this. Although I have got caught up and I've been playing this for a good 3 hours, so hopefully I can cut this down so it is an acceptable length to watch and doesn't miss out any of the important bits. Let's hope. Appreciate this lovely ladder, and then I'm just gonna end the video I think just about here. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it does maybe give you a little bit more appreciation for playing.
I can see the Hall of Records. We're almost there now.
It wasn't a game I was massively excited about playing in VR, in all honesty. But now we're able to play it in this different way, it does make it a lot more interesting. And I think I'm definitely going to have to come back and try this one out again. So if you can support the channel, that would be fantastic. It really does help us out. If you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more VR related content from Headset VR. And if you do have any comments about this, the mod, or you need any assistance in getting it working, then please do give me a shout out in the comments section. Any comments you do make, I will respond to accordingly. Can I open this? I can. So I'd like to say thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching. Like I said, the best bits are at the end. This is basically the best I feel it is as a VR game. Now you completely see all of Eve in the headset. There's no, oh, we're down here, or oh, we're up here, or anything. She's perfectly bang in the middle of the screen with the settings that I've been using, at least anyway. So do look out on the Patreon for the files that you can download. But other than that, I'm going to end the video just here. I'm just going to go and squash these little shits, and we're going to end it on that. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, folks, and we'll see you soon.